Hi,
Yeah.
welcome back to Wild Speculations. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
This week,
Uh,
heavy combat episode, long episode,
yep.
and some interesting because we talked a little bit last week in our speculations whether or not Ashley was coming back.
Yes.
And we also talked about how it seemed like Matt was going to force them to make a choice between confronting the worms or going and trying to stop Oban.
Yeah.
And that was the first surprise to me in the episode. Was Matt finishes the recap, you guys are running, and a worm comes out.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by that, and I tried to figure out why that worm would be there. Other than he wants to have the encounter. And he basically told his players told him, yeah, we're putting that aside, I don't care. And I found it, that took me out of it for a moment. Because I was like, why here and why now? For the worms being there. Or the worm being there. The attack, I mean, we don't know, and maybe we will find out this week, or sorry, not this week, when they come back,
right,
following Thursday. We'll find out what the Kreen attack was based on. And it also seems to indicate there's more than one worm.
Yeah.
And their entourage.
Yes. I gotta say, it was a pretty gutsy move by Ford. And he almost got caught by a guard.
Yeah.
And I almost think Matt was being nice, because there was a guy there, and then all of a sudden
the worm scared it off.
Yeah.
I don't think Matt was necessarily being nice, because the real problem was Pumat was with them.
Yeah.
So whether or not a guard saw them or not, a tangential agent of the Cerberus Assembly.
To be fair, Pumat already knows about that. Because in the previous episode, when they got there, Caduceus is like, hey, well, yeah, that was us.
No, that was to the gentleman.
Oh, that's right.
The gentleman said, I have people that are giving me information that struck my memory. And he's like, yeah, that was us. So the gentleman already knew that they were doing stuff and just wanted to confirm that it was them. Pumat didn't know.
That's true.
So, no, this is a whole new thing. But I think we were sort of half right in talking about Yasha when Ashley would come back and the timing and everything, because I think Matt's construction of this episode, I think the way that I envision he thought of it and planned it out is encounter one, the worm, and that's going to take 35-40 minutes.
Right.
Because the worm's a bag of hit points, does a lot of damage, and the Kreen soldiers are nothing to slouch at.
Right.
And in combination with the worm, that's going to be a pretty tight encounter. It also gives them the chance to be heroes in Rexington. to offset any damage they're going to cause in their fight at the temple.
Mm-hmm.
So they bypass that encounter by Forge showing them the Bright Queen's symbol.
And saying they're there on business.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting how that comes back to bite them. If it comes back to bite them, which we'll talk about later.
Right.
So I think that's first thing. The second one was the antechamber, that encounter, which was going to be probably, he guessed, 25 to 30 minutes is my guess.
Okay.
Because that encounter would have exposed the beacon. Or not beacon, he wasn't calling it a beacon, they were calling it, I forget what he was calling it, but the device that was breaking the rifts.
Oh.
Because that was in there. Because if you remember, at the start of the setup of the fight, when Knot is in the room and she's witnessing what's going on, the dude pops his head in and says, "Nothing yet."
Yeah.
So that was Matt trying to give hints to them that you think you're clever and bypass something, but something's going on in there and you need to check it out. And it just went over their heads.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Travis made a point that the doorway is a fatal funnel, and that's true. But they traded one fatal funnel for a second. It was just one that the enemy didn't know about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the demons were coming from there, and which put Pumat in danger.
Yeah.
Couple highlights from the battle for me. I won a Vrock. Or sorry, that's what I would have said. But Travis summoned the Vrock.
Yes. Personally, I would have gone with "We will Vrock you."
Yeah.
Before that battle, but I liked the worm. You know, they all jump on and go under, and Liam just whispers, "Wadi."
Yeah, I also. Yeah,
that made me chuckle. That brought a smile to my face.
Which only reminded me that the movie's coming out soon. They're in post-production. But the other big one for me, RP-wise especially, was after Oban charms Bo.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
that was...
Everyone at the table, audience, is like, this is a death spiral now. Because Oban has both tanks.
Well,
at that point.
Yeah. And if you remember, I mentioned several episodes ago, that Marisha is getting and needs to remember stillness of mind.
Yeah.
Which she did, and it made me so happy.
And it was a slow burn.
Because I was like, it happens, and I'm like, if she doesn't remember, this is going to be bad. I'm like, please remember when I'm watching it. I'm just like, please.
Yeah.
You know.
And I loved her narration of it. It was so good.
Yeah, as soon as she said it, you know, I closed my eyes. I was like, yes. And then she talked about remembering Nicodranas and her meditation on the beach. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there was... Jester was great the whole time. And both clerics did really good to stay out of damage.
Yeah.
They just...
The Furbolg invisibility.
And Jester just sort of being off in the corner.
Yes.
And just letting her duplicate cast up everything. And Matt was kind enough to give her one attack from the bad guys. And Sam used his throwaway attack as Not as leaving to shoot the duplicate.
Yeah.
As well. Which it always... I don't know. It's nice when those abilities can get multiple uses.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I thought was interesting, and I would like to know why Matt did it, was he broke up finding the thing and casting the spell. And I wonder if Jester would have had to do that, or if she would have known.
I don't think Jester would have had to do that, because she's already identified. She's already discerned it.
Okay.
And she's told everybody else. So they're aware of it, but they don't know exact. You know what I'm saying? I think if it had been Jester, it would have just been, okay, yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Well, and the other interesting thing is when Caduceus made the perception check, and he said he rolled like crap. I think he rolled a 1, because I think his bonus is plus 10.
Yeah.
And he said 11. And Matt said the DC is 10 if you're looking from behind, which means he had set a DC for the side and maybe even the front.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. And I'm wondering what those DCs were. Maybe from the front it's just not possible. But like from the side, maybe it's 13.
Yeah, I was going to say 12 or 13 and then 20 plus or impossible, yeah.
Yeah. And Caduceus decides to cast Dispel at 5th level. And Matt's like, that works.
Yep.
So that, I think Matt set it at 5th level because Dominate Person, I think, is that level. Or Dominate Monster is 5th level. I can't remember which one is which.
I figured he just set it at that level to make them use one of their highest level spell slots to do it, if they wanted to do it for sure. As a resource thing.
That's fair.
You can take a chance with a lower level one, or you can be sure and use your highest level.
That's fair.
But that way it's not so high there's no like guarantee, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, Travis was having so much fun in this fight. Just enjoying Liam's firebombing of the church. And I loved his comment after the second fireball and Caleb comes around the corner. Is that okay? Which is essentially what Caleb was doing.
Essentially a wizard trope.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. And Matt was kind to not make him make the concentration check for the glass, for the flavor damage.
Yeah.
Which I thought was nice. I mean, you split the difference between verisimilitude and strict adherence to, you took damage and make a concentration check.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a warcaster, so he's got advantage on the check. So is it worth forcing it for that? No. But I am not sure, and even on my rewatch, and I meant to look for it and I forgot. Liam, when he's taking all that damage in the first round, seemed to be ready to roll a concentration check. And I don't know if he actually dropped the die and rolled it, or what. Because Liam sometimes does that stuff quick.
Yeah.
And he's honest if he does. If he loses concentration, he says so.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure that he checked in those, especially after the firestorm.
Yeah.
A personal favorite moment of mine also in that combat was when the Kadogast knifes Ford.
Yeah.
And Travis rolled, even with advantage, he rolled his concentration check. And Matt was asking for a Constitution saving throw for the poison. But he said, well, I got a 21. on the keep the spell, and Matt's like, yeah, that's not enough. You lose. It doesn't go away. It's still here, but you lose control of it. And everyone at the table is like, and Travis is like, oh.
And now
I was like,
see the other side of the spell.
Yep. And I was wondering if he was going to get to the demon's charisma saving throw at the end of each of its turns, but we didn't make it that far.
Nope.
And props to Laura, who set up the argument while all that stuff was going on still in the turn with Marisha when they were talking, because they're like, yeah, but he's a devil. Demons hate devils. And Marisha's like, oh, yeah, I'm on to that. And then when it came around to the Rock's turn, Matt says, it's going to ignore Oban, and the nearest non-fiend is... And they're like, well, he's a devil, though, right? Which had Matt have to go through the whole thing. And
yeah.
All right, yeah, technically he would go after her.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, I wouldn't have opened with multi-attack as the Rock.
No,
I would have opened with the Stunning Screech, hit everybody around you.
Yep.
Because none of them are your friends at that point.
Yep.
And then be able to pick off whoever I wanted while they're stunned.
Yep. Yeah, the same.
And even if it's not an intelligent demon, an overly intelligent demon, those are its natural attack forms.
Yeah.
So that is going to be its natural predator-prey attitude.
Yeah. Well, when you read the monster stat block, it says this is number 1.
Yeah.
That it does. And the only reason that Ford would not want it to do that
is because his friends are there.
Right.
But he wasn't in control.
Right. So yeah, I think the Stunning Screech, does it matter? Because the other side of that I thought about after the fact is, did it matter?
Depends on how good their rolls were.
Fair. Like the only thing that it probably would have mattered is we would have gotten an extra round of combat, because the following round would have gone a little faster.
Yeah.
Because, oh, you're stunned, you can't do anything this turn.
Yep.
And Ford probably would have had to use his relentless endurance, because he would have been stunned and surrounded at that point.
Yeah.
I loved when Yasha came up. So then that gets back to how I think Matt wanted the evening to go. I think
you think you wanted her for the break? Either just before or just after coming in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Where the way it happened, it pushed the break back way late again.
Yeah.
So, and you don't want to take a break in the middle of combat, I don't think. But she goes after Not, and luckily she's rusty and forgot that she gets to attack twice.
Yes.
Still rolled double 1s on that advantage, so that still would have been a fail.
Yes. To be fair, she also, that messed up in favor of the rest of the party, but she also messed up, because I think she just read, she may have taken the point of exhaustion for the Skin Gorger, because, in the crit roll stats, it says, you as a bonus action, you can take a level of exhaustion to give it the crit and extra acid damage. And that was kind of on both, because she used the 1920 crit, but I don't think she rolled the extra d8 of acid damage.
No.
Because when you do that, you take that level, it empowers the weapon for a minute.
Yeah.
So that was kind of both for and against.
Well, was that a bonus action?
Yes.
So that's probably what she was going to do in the first round that she forgot to do.
Yeah.
Or that she was like, oh, wait, no, I raged.
Yeah.
So she just did it on the second turn without saying it.
Okay.
Is my guess.
Yeah.
Now, whether she remembered to add the damage or not,
I don't think she added the...
I can't say.
Because when she was counting, she only said the D6s when she was recounting.
Yeah.
The weapon and the radiant damage and the extra D6 for the critical.
Now, I have a question for you. Did you notice, was she using the D12s numbered 1 through 6 twice? Okay. Yeah, because they were like, you get an extra D12. And she was like, wait, what?
Yeah. And then she goes, no, these are 6s.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I found that amusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she drops a bow.
She drops a bow, which prompted a question in viewing, and I asked you about it, and you agree. Do not get the all-seeing eye tattooed on the back of your neck. It is a curse.
It is a target for the axeman.
You will be dropped and then stabbed to lose 2 death saves.
Yeah.
Now, whether that turns out okay in Bo's case with Tal's, casting Spare the Dying as a Grave Cleric, or not so good in Molly's case, or in my case because you know my luck with death saves.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is nothing none of my characters will ever do from this point forward because I am too afraid of death saves.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I got dropped to death saves where I didn't get at least 1-1 on my checks. And the last one I did, I got a 1, and then I got an 11, and then I got another 1. And that was with you and Curse of Strahd running the game.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, he did shoot a raven, and they were told not to do that, so the dice kind of knew.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was my favorite line to end a session on. It serves him right. And then everyone at the table was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, when she dropped her 2 death saves, I was like, it's that fucking tattoo.
Yeah.
Because Bo hasn't dropped. I think I'm probably wrong, but it's got to be over 60 episodes.
Yeah, I would say it's around 60, give or take.
Because the last time was in the mid-20s, I think, when they were in Zadash and going up and into the swamp.
Yeah, mid to late 20s. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
Get that tattoo, first fight you get in, down. Yeah.
And, especially since it was the reminiscent, the drop them and then use the extra attack when they're down and just, and Matt even pulled it up. Reminiscent of like fucking neck tattoos.
And I had a thought, a momentary worry, and I was like, wait, are Onis fiends? Because if they're a fiend, then we could have the Rakshasa sort of thing where he might try to come back. But luckily they're just giants. Yeah. So he's not coming back. At least not through that means.
Right. So, speaking of that with the Tal saving the day there, hell of a clutch round for him.
Yeah, and this,
and it's the biggest reason why he got my MVP.
Yeah, I struggled a lot with trying to figure out who's going to get MVP for me because so much, everyone had huge things that they were doing the whole episode, but
literally saving both tanks in one turn.
Yeah. And it's funny because the table narration was our heroes are looking in a tight spot because Sam says that, and everyone's like, yeah. And Talison's turn, that was the tipping point. That was the fulcrum turn.
Yeah.
Where everything just turned around.
It's like when they paused the General Lee midair off the ramp. What are our boys gonna do?
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, he dispels. He uses the 5th level like we talked about. It works. You know, we'll go through in a minute about her getting released there and what that might mean. And then he's like, well, that's my action. So as my bonus action, and I love how he narrated because he's got the 30-foot. One of the Beatles just crawls out, goes over to her, taps her on the ankle, and spare the dying.
Yeah, so good.
And Matt's like, grave clerics, what are you gonna do?
So good.
And I was just like, oh my god, he saved them both. You know, 'cause
well, arguably he saved 3 because Ford was looking down the barrel of that gun.
Yeah.
Because she was coming for him.
Yeah.
And he was not going to survive around.
No.
In contact with her. But that led to probably the best moment of that fight, RP wise.
Yeah.
Probably. When Ford casts Innervation on her. And he pulls the life out of her. And Ashley says, you see just the hint of thankfulness.
Yeah.
Of gratitude or something. I can't remember her exact words, but and it was like, oh. And then the following turn when he does it again, and Talos is like, "You saw her change," and he's like, "I know." And Talos is like, "Oh, okay, so that's what's happening." Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah. But, you know, she goes through, for the first time, and as long as she can remember, she doesn't feel Oban in her head.
Matt narrates in her mind, her breaking the chains.
Yes, her breaking the chains. Which we, back in the pirate days, speculated that when she breaks the chains, she's gonna...
Well, no. Well, yes. And then we got caught wind of that. Got some evidence of that when they were at the Giants' place, the Stone Giants, and she was out in the storm, and the vision that she had was her straining and her feathers starting to grow back in. Yeah.
So my question was, does she, for lack of a better word, ascend back to Protector or, you know, whatever, from Fallen with the next level up or the next long rest?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Couple reasons. I think the chains that she was struggling in that first division were not the chains of Oban, because Oban hadn't chained her again. But also...
But he was always partially there, because he says, for the first time you can remember, Oban's not in the back of your head.
Yes, but her being fallen, like breaking his control, does not absolve her of this sin.
True. Okay.
And she has done her better probably than anyone, and partially because she's been in New York, has managed to avoid dipping into their backstory.
Yes.
For her to become a non-fallen, she has to confront.
I would say we know as much, if not more, of her than of Bo.
That's fair. Yeah.
Oh.
But neither one of them have been forced to confront those things. And Bo is in a position emotionally, I think, where she can go do that.
Yeah.
She now, when Marisha was on Talks last, and maybe we'll get some more of it tonight again, but she was asked, how is Bo handling being in a position of authority?
Yeah.
And Marisha's like, she fucking loves it.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to feed into her willingness to go home. Because if she has this position of authority that she can lord over her father.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like when Percy gave Vex the title.
Yeah.
In front of the dad. And, hey, I've got this. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Quick other question about Yasha. How recent do you think that was? The whole slaughtering. Here's the thing, okay? They got me thinking. And I know it's because she's a zealot barbarian and so she can be resurrected without material components and yada yada. People who can't be killed. That's how she fits in that category.
Yeah.
Even though she doesn't really understand that, and so it didn't bring
Which was
it up.
odd to me.
What if couple of ideas? What if she didn't kill all those people? What if she was one of the slain and Oban resurrected her and that's a little bit further. Two, what if this happened like 50 years ago, 100 years ago? There's resurrection spells that can go that far back.
Yeah.
And if she was a zealot barbarian then, we don't know when that happened. We don't know when.
And that's where my mind goes.
You know, that's where my mind goes first too. The other one was just a thought I had right now.
I want to say no because that undercuts the tragedy.
Yeah.
I think a little bit. But I can also see Matt doing that so that Yasha isn't.
Well, it could be one of
villain.
those. Well, it could be not so that she's not a villain, but to explore the survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Angle.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't remember slaughtering them. She just knows she was there among the fallen.
Yeah, but the thing is...
And it could be that they assumed she did it. That's how she got the name, Orphan Maker.
I disagree because she's a fallen Aasimar. If she had been a Scourge or even Protector, you might have a point. But because she's fallen, she did something to earn that.
Okay. I buy that.
That's why I say it's probably not that she's a survivor of the slaughter. I think she actually did kill all those people. And yeah, I think she has to face that before she can get her wings back.
Okay.
Or whether she faces it or not, helping Caduceus.
Yeah, atonement.
Yeah,
of some kind.
Yeah, heal the planet, basically heal the Earth.
Right.
We also saw Widowgast's Web of Fire get an edit.
Yep. Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, wait, that's not right. When he quoted the damage on my first watch, and I didn't get a chance to rewatch it on my own. My rewatch was with you, tonight, and I mentioned it, and I was like, they dropped that because it was a 4th level spell, and the way it was written when they
the single
shared
target
it
was 12d6.
Was 12d6. So going to 11 with an upcast level means it's dropped to 10d6 for a single target.
Yeah.
Which I thought the 12d6 was a little high for the single target.
Yeah.
So I'm totally okay with it. It's still a great spell.
Yeah. Well, it's versatility, and it's still one of the only 4th level single target high damage spells.
I mean, I'll still take it with a wizard every time you'll allow it in your game.
Again, I still don't know that I would allow it.
I mean, it's on D&D Beyond. I know that's not an argument because you can put homebrew stuff on there.
Yes. But, yeah. It's this close to being D&D Wiki.
Now, if it's in the Wild Mountain campaign setting, then I'll argue for it.
Fair. Fair.
Which I'm still waiting for that announcement.
I've
been waiting since they dropped the silhouettes before the campaign even started.
It's true. Yeah. The other thing that we got that was sort of a big moment for me in the fight was as Matt's narrating Tensor's transformation.
Yes.
As Pumat casts it. And when Matt tells them the spell, he doesn't say Tensor's he says transformation.
Mm-hmm.
But Taliesin and Liam both got to stereo Pumat Swole.
Yeah. I think that was... I don't know, because they've been playing 5e long enough. I don't think so, but part of me was like, I wonder if it's because, like, in Pathfinder, the similar spell is just transformation because they can't use tensors. And they started in Pathfinder as a group.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
But none of this campaign was in Pathfinder. And they've been, 4 or 5 years now playing 5e?
Yeah.
So.
Well, Matt might still be cognizant of that.
Yeah, he might be. And, he definitely, that he had the slip up with the previous editions where healing spells were necromancy too.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it could still be a throwback from their Pathfinder origins together.
Yeah. But this does lead me to Pumat telling them to go. He will hold them off.
Yes, the Gandalf moment.
Yes.
Fly, you fools.
Yes.
So does he come back in all white?
Oh, I think he dies. In fact, I kind of hope... So, I'm of two minds. Part of me hopes that he's dead.
Okay.
Because that makes... It makes knowledge of the Bright Queen's seal. It makes knowledge of Mighty Nine's secrets a death sentence, just like knowledge of Kal-El and Clark Kent.
Okay.
Anyone who knows that ends up dying in the comics.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would very much like it that he survives, and the Mighty Nine have to tiptoe around it getting out that they have the seal of the Bright Queen. Now, not tried to say, oh, it's a counterfeit one, and they were all trying to spin stuff. And Matt didn't make anyone make deception checks. And I worry about that.
Yeah.
Because if Matt didn't call for the deception check, that means either he has decided whatever they say, the NPC will believe, or no matter what they say, the NPC is not going to believe them.
Yeah.
And it all depends on whether or not, how good of a look Matt thinks Pumat got of it.
Yeah.
Or if he was close enough to hear.
Yeah.
And if Pumat has any kind of stats close to Caduceus, he heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has been played as pretty observant.
Yeah.
He tends to notice little changes. He tends to notice and correct them when they're wrong on. So I think he did. I think he knows.
Yeah. We have not really a sidetrack, but to me, they spent an awful lot of time getting from that door to the Dawn Father statue. Like, to me, it just felt like it took forever. It's like, why? I didn't understand why they were doing that. But also, I'm sort of with Jester. Why are we taking these 10 minutes? We gotta go.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is they kind of needed the health.
Right. Do they have a diamond big enough for Ray's dad?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, by my memory, yes, they do. They have a 500 gold piece diamond, and they have a 300 gold piece diamond.
Okay. Because I think she was just remembering the 300, and yes. She's like, if we take too long, I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah. Now they have the gold to buy one.
Yeah.
Especially the platinum that they got.
True.
So that's a minor inconvenience if it happened that Not dies and they get there after the minute and they can't use the 300 gold piece diamond. And we're wrong and they don't have the 500.
True. Although I'd much rather see them find someone who can cast reincarnate.
You mean someone who's on the Tal'Dorei Council?
Someone with a voice like a tempest?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But we get our first... They solve the puzzle of the... It has to be on fire. You have to turn it. Mm-hmm. They get down. Forge still has the invisibility. He sees Oban up there. He eventually casts Fairy Fire.
And that moment when he fails against the Fairy Fire, I think, was a huge turn point.
Yeah. Well, and
I think it would have gone much differently if he had succeeded and hadn't been Fairy Fire.
Yeah, well, the other big thing was the Dispel Magic on Ford. No, Greater Restoration.
Yeah,
was what they cast on him so that he could get out of there. Because Matt smiled like I do when Jester stepped into that spot because she had to.
Yep.
And it was like, oh no. And I was on the edge of my seat in that moment. I think I stood up and I was pacing in front of the TV.
Yeah.
And I was like, ah.
Yeah.
Because all he needed was to land. Or it was for the Kato Geist to get into the spot. And then him land and bang. It's done.
And yeah. And I saw that and I was like, oh fuck, I know that smile.
Yeah. And I was like,
I've both looked at you doing that smile and I've made that smile.
Yeah. And I was like, those tattoos that they got are gonna come true. The broken chains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chaos Screw. We're gonna break the chain. Why? Why would you even?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm waiting for that to come up.
That's like the people who get the anchor tattoo that says "Never Sink."
Fair. But we get our first look at a Fane, or maybe second look, because you've pointed out that the temple under Whitestone, the Ioun temple,
mm-hmm.
Ziggurat, may be one.
Yes.
And I'm trying to remember back to Matt describing the inner sanctum there. And I think he described it like where the sphere basically came sounded like a similar pillar
mm-hmm.
might have been there.
Yep.
Now, maybe that was the first break because the pillar wasn't there and they had the sphere there.
Yeah. I mean, that could have been the first break. That could be why he has enough influence to start a relatively new cult.
Yeah.
Under the guise of the Angel of Irons and get these people working towards freeing him.
Yep.
And
and the timing works out because they said 40 years ago, which is roughly when Percy's family was slaughtered.
Mm-hmm. And they don't, and it's not, we're not directly, we're not interacting with Vox Machina. He did say they will have to deal with things that they did or did not do.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So, second time we've...
pretty sure that I was right, that was,
Yeah, I think Matt's setting up for a trip to Vasselheim.
Yeah.
Also. He mentioned it a few episodes ago when they were doing research at the Cobalt Reserve in Zadash.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of a throwaway. But after this episode, I think he's moving that way.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's probably going to be after
TravelerCon.
Yeah. Because that will be sort of the Traveler's step 2 or 3 or whatever step he's on.
Yeah.
It's the next step after whatever he does at TravelerCon. Is to go to the city of the gods and make his mark.
Mm-hmm.
I've performed my miracle. Now I belong in the city.
Yep.
So, and it will be interesting to see how the Titan has been integrated into the city.
Yeah.
But Oban fails.
Yep.
And they drop him to 0 hit points. And this time, for doing it, he becomes, was it Oban the Punished?
Yes.
Something like that?
A final fuck you from Thursday.
Which is going to be where next episode starts.
Yes.
Is them fighting that. But maybe it will have an ability that Oban did not to break the Fane. Or Oban failed.
Yeah.
And maybe
it'll be a race. They gotta kill it in X turns or it gets the thing, breaks the Fane.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to do... We've seen very few legendary actions, but I can see it with this. And the legendary action is, I'm going to try to break the chain. And there's probably going to be... So it's a tightrope to walk. Because you can set it up so that... Like, Matt could set it up so that breaking the chain is supposed to kill people. So maybe it just does a bunch of damage. So maybe Oban Punished will probably have a lifesteal mechanic in it, built in. So that as he breaks them, he can consume the life of the people he's fighting.
Okay.
And that at that point, he just becomes... just a consuming killing machine. And I think it's going to be a preview of the higher level monsters that the Mighty Nine might have to face. Because, and I was thinking about this on my rewatch, that it's kind of like Ford had so many tactics for so much of the campaign, especially after Molly died, with the Summer Dance Falchion, just teleporting around and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why he took Thunderstep. So he doesn't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking about Avantika. and how she could still be out there. We talked about where are these weapons going when Ford consumes them.
Yeah.
Are they going into a trove for Uk'otoa to hand out as he likes?
Yeah.
Is there an extraplanar deal being made between Uk'otoa and Tharizdun? Because if Uk'otoa can be freed, then Tharizdun could have one of these children who were betrayed by their parents, basically. Hey, I will help you be free in the material plane, and you will help me be free beyond the divine gate.
Yeah.
You can run rampant on the material. I will consume the gods.
Yeah.
And, so what if the deal gets made and Avantika does come back, as you speculated that she could, as an Undying? Is Undying Warlock?
Undying Warlock, or even the Deathlock.
Yes. That's what I was trying to think of. And she has Summer's Dance.
Oh.
Because that's a whole nother level of mess with the Mighty Nine.
Yeah.
Because Avantika's back one, which is a shit our pants moment.
It's gonna fuck with Ford. It's gonna fuck with Jester. Bo's got her coat.
Yeah. But that's so it would be very interesting. And then she breaks Uk'otoa out. We still don't know what the half crystal is for.
Yeah.
That Caduceus has. And that might be the next thing we do. If they stop this and they can navigate the political fallout of their actions, and whether or not they can keep those coins secret, will be a big deal.
Yeah.
But if they can get out of it, then I think Caduceus's Heal the Land will be the next big thing after TravelerCon, because that's probably the most immediate.
Yeah. Just because of the time crunch.
Yeah. I wonder if Matt is going to come out and ask her. Well, if the Traveler is going to come out and ask her, hey, how are we going to get to the island? Just so that they now start pre-planning.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I know how much you want it to happen. I know how much it makes sense. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to find their own way there. They may take their ship there. But they're not going to be chartering people, ferrying people.
Yeah. It does make me sad. Let's see, what do we got? So, the Cato Geist is still in play. Yeah, I don't know what the play is. If the Fane isn't, if they don't break this one, I don't know what the play is. And I don't know if the Mighty Nine have the resources to figure out where the other chains are.
Here's the question, though. Does Oban still have control of the Cato Geist? Or does he lose that ability in his new form?
Yeah. That's the other big thing.
And if so, does the Cato Geist even care about any of this shit? Does the Cato Geist want to team with the Nine? Or not necessarily team with the Nine, but get back at Oban for controlling her? Does she still want to fuck with the Nine? Because, hey, that's fun to do.
Well, so much of that answer depends on the politics of the Abyss.
Yeah.
Because she serves an abyssal lord.
Yeah.
Does Tharizdun also, like, how does that fall?
Yeah.
And if Lolth and Tiamat are subservient or parallel to Tharizdun,
Mm-hmm.
but he seems out of the pecking order of the Abyss.
So from what I've read, he's not really in the pecking order of at least the Betrayer gods. And most of the Betrayer gods are like, fuck this dude, I don't want to mess with him.
Yeah. So maybe that starts a thing on the Abyss where
but
yeah,
if they're using this Angel of Iron's cultist Tharizdun breaking, are they trying to get him free to break the divine gate so that they can all come back?
Yeah, well, that fits in with what I was saying.
Yeah.
The end thing with
in which case, then yeah, they want to help him anyway, even though they're like, we don't fucking like this dude. We don't want to mess with him. He's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And so maybe Oban's control was just him being a devil.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way he did it. Where
yeah,
these abyssal creatures, their masters want this. Or they will use this opportunity to go, okay, yeah, no. We're going to do this. Ooh. So the Mighty Nine are down there fighting Oban. Yeah. What happens if out of the rifts comes a Goristra?
Damn. It's a good question.
Because now all of a sudden I'm seeing this, where the devil demons just are summoned into the church and just tear it down. And it doesn't help that the Stormlord sort of blew out the windows.
Right.
So,
It doesn't help that the Cardinal was a Tharizdun cultist either, but
Yeah. So yeah, and it's possible that they killing all of the Alkalites of the Dawnfather helped speed along that breakdown.
Definitely.
Because we haven't had that anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I, just by looking at it, I couldn't figure out what those things were that were coming out. So, yeah, I think we might see a bigger demon that they have to fight after they fight Oban. And I'm afraid Pumat might be dead.
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go optimistic. I'm going to say Pumat's able to shut down
he does have Dispel Magic.
The anchor. And because they got other shit they got to do.
It was fair.
I mean, they got to stop this. They're right in Trent's backyard, so they probably got to deal with that shit. Plus, they got to get to Traveler Con before dealing with the rest of the shit that's on their plate. I mean,
they're in the tier 2 ramp up.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's a steep one.
Speaking of which, I think we level up.
Yeah, we level up.
Yeah.
Sometime next episode.
Yeah.
Beginning, end, break, one of those three.
Yeah.
They're leveling.
Agreed.
Which will get them the next level of spell slots, among other things.
Yeah. So we're gonna go watch
Talks,
Talks Machina. We'll see you
Matt and
guys
Ashley.
next week.
I guess.